Thank you all so much. It seems like everyone can hear us. That's wonderful. Good afternoon. I want to welcome you all to the Professional Certificate in Artificial Intelligence Management webinar. My name is Shawnee Sutton, and My name is Shawnee Sutton. I am the enrollment manager here at Georgetown University School of Continuing Studies. I am the enrollment manager for our professional certificate programs, and I'm joined by Dr. Frederick Lemire, I'm sorry. He is the faculty director and instructor for the Artificial Intelligence Management program, our certificate program, and he's going to actually be talking to you all about the program. Just to go over a little housekeeping, the presentation is going to run as such. I will do I'm doing introductions. I will talk to you guys about, I will talk to you all about the professional learning experience. Um, Professor Lemire will talk to you all about artificial intelligence management, and we'll talk to you all about the courses and how the program is designed and how things work within the program. I would then come back on and speak about the registration process and tuition options. And at the end, we will have a Q&A session. So you can get those questions in our question panel. We will save them for our Q&A session. And while Dr. Lemire is talking, I'll also try to answer some questions that can be answered during, presentation. So we'll get started. The professional learning experience at Georgetown University. So due to COVID-19, things have changed with our university as far as the platform of how our courses are being delivered. Normally, this program is in person. You have to come on our campus that's located downtown at the downtown Massachusetts Avenue by our lovely Verizon Center where our basketball team plays. However, it's considered a Chinatown area. Um, Now, because of COVID-19, our classes are being delivered virtually in a platform that we call Flex Learning. The difference with Flex Learning is it is not your traditional asynchronous online learning. It's real time. Um, you will be live with your instructors. You have to, be present during the times and the schedules that the classes will run. So if your class starts at 9 o'clock a.m., you need to be in front of your computer on um, on Zoom, which is the platform that we use at 9 a.m. And, you will work with your instructor as if you were working with them in person. And that's why we've developed this flex learning, because we still want to give you that face-to-face experience. You'll be able to interact with your professor in real time. You'll be able to interact with your classmates. There are ways for your instructors to, put you in small groups, just like you would be if you were sitting in the classroom. And homework assignments and things like that are done via Canvas, which is our online learning tool that we use. We used to have Blackboard, but now we use Canvas. So Canvas works as our Blackboard for us. Um, and you'll have time to, just have that real world, that real interaction. That's what we want to keep with our classes that we usually have face to face. We want to make sure that students still feel that they're sitting in the classroom and they're conversing with their instructors, real time, being able to interact with their teachers, being able to interact with their peers in the class as well. Frederick, is there anything that you want to add to that?
Yeah, and yes, thank you, Shawnee. And I want also to place an emphasis that we try to offer a kind of a blended approach. So Shawnee was totally right about describing the experience in front of the Zoom. We also make sure that you guys have enough break. I call that like brain break to make a pause from the presentations and also live activities, But we also use Canvas. So Canvas is our learning platform, and we make sure that we put a lot of information there, the readings and so on. So it's not just live, but you also have access outside of the live session to tangible material like the readings, instructions for some assignments or activities, and so on and so forth. So we try to balance those things.
Thank you. And again, Flex Learning is designed to make the lectures, discussions, and your presentations, everything feel as though you're sitting in your class. A lot of people do want to still have that classroom experience. They prefer to have that instead of doing the traditional online asynchronous format. And we want to just make sure that we continue to deliver that as, during this time dealing with COVID and making sure everyone is safe at home while we're giving that and delivering that experience. And we've had great reviews about our Flex Learning platform. People are excited because they have an opportunity to take classes that they probably would not have taken if we were doing the traditional in-person class. So this is giving us an option to reach out to people that are living in other states, other countries, that can take this flex learning experience. So it has been a benefit for us as well, and students really enjoy it. They really feel like they still get that real experience and that one-on-one with their instructors, and that's important for our students in flex learning. So for artificial intelligence management, the ideal student for the program is business leaders, strategists, and entrepreneurs. Now, you may have some people who don't fit into these categories that want to take the program. I mean, we have people who are career changers that, want to take the program, or people who are just interested in the subject that wants to take the program. And they are all welcome as well. These are just an ideal setup for students who come and take the program on a regular basis. But we do have, room for everyone if you're interested in the subject or if you're career changing. This is a great way to get yourself acclimated and understanding what AI is, and just, being able to move forward. If you want to change careers, move forward and taking your next steps. So we welcome you all to take this program as well. The course schedule is 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. For 5 consecutive weekdays. Spring, we offer it spring, summer, and fall. So that's 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. And like I said, with Flex Learning, you will be, at your computer, taking your class 9 a.m. to 4. And like Dr. Lemire said, you will have breaks and things of that nature. Tuition is $3,995. And that includes all course materials. There's no extra cost, there's no extra fees. It's just tuition only. So, being that you're paying tuition only, there is no additional fees like you would pay for a degree program. You are not paying for certain amenities that students who are seeking a degree pay. So you would have access to things like the gym or the cafeteria. But being a student, you will have access to everything that we have access to on our school campus, which is the School of Continuing Studies campus. In our building, you have access to our libraries. You have access to the library on main campus as well. Just other things like the gym and certain things like that that you wouldn't have access to because you're not paying for fees to access that. The classroom sizes are small for interactions with instructors and classmates. We want to make sure that the student experience is worthy. We want to make sure that the students are getting as much as they can out of the classes. And we want to make sure that, your experience is what you actually paid for. So we try to make classes at a size that students are comfortable and they feel that they're getting that experience and that exposure and that knowledge that they're trying to get when they come to the class. Frederick, is there anything you want to add?
Yes, thank you. I would say also, in terms of size, the minimum is 5, and from since I am involved with the teaching in this certificate, I would say that the largest class was about like 15. So we try to keep it in that range, simply because, like Shani mentioned, it's better for interaction, but also we can do like great, like small group activities with that kind of class size.
Thank you so much. So next, we're going to talk to you about artificial intelligence management, and Dr. Lemire is going to actually talk to you about this. So I will let him begin.
Thank you. Here, just I want to make sure that we're all on the same page about artificial intelligence. Like we are past the hype. You know, like we are now experiencing, especially with COVID-19, an acceleration of the I would say penetration of AI in our society. You know, AI goes with also digital transformation that we are like witnessing for more than a decade now. And AI is not something that is new. And I put a link here. I think that where you see the hype in yellow, it's a link that I put there. So we will be sending you the slide deck later on, but you can click on the link and you will have access to a text that I recently published on SCS website. And it talks about that. It talks about the fact that AI is not new. AI has been around since the 50s, 60s, you know, where they started to have like to prototype, if you want, um, um, computers and machines that were able to solve problem and learn by themselves. And it was commercialized in the 80s and 90s. But now, I mean, it is, and mainly because of the availability of data and data sets, now it's really exploding. And you know, you don't have to be an expert in language, you know, to, you know, like or in certain like Python or something like that, or, you know, programming language to be an expert or to develop an expertise in AI. There is a lot of individuals that are right now working in the digital transformation field, and basically what they have to work on is try to find out a strategy to integrate AI if need be, and if it makes sense, see how AI can provide some solutions for, you know, optimizing business processes, or to also break through new markets, or improve, for example, employees or consumer experience when they interact with your organization. Next slide. This is a couple of you know, like what I wanted to do is share some of the information that we can find out there about AI, and you know, the leaders that are looking about AI to transform, if you want, their organization, or to make their organization more competitive. I will not read that. I think that, you know, like it speaks for itself. You can read it by yourself. But I would say that the interesting statistics here, it's the last one from Gartner, on about emerging technology and having AI foundation. And that's what I was saying before, like AI is becoming, so to speak, a digital transformation enabler, not just by itself, but because also it mesh very well with other emerging technology like cloud computing, or Internet of Things, or any type of, you know, like analytics program. So you can see that as the creation, so to speak, of and a rapid creation of a AI ecosystems in our society. Next slide, please. You know, state of the AI. So the reason why I put the first bullet point in about data is because it is absolutely imperative for AI to be thriving and to be, you know, like useful, that data is available. And you can see, for example, that, you know, I forgot how many times the information, like I think it's every year and a half or 2 years, like information available on internet, for example, double or triple. So it is exponential. There's a lot of information and data set existing now that help organization to train their AI to have more accuracy with their models, to refine and like add parameters to their algorithm and so on. So that is very encouraging, and it provides also more application as well for AI deployment. Um, the spending also is going up. I believe that compared to 2018, there is more than 20% increase in spending. So organization really invest. What I will be curious is to see how much it went up for 2020, because a lot of organizations out there are playing catch up because they need solutions because either their employee works from home or they have to reach out to customers in other ways where like they would need probably like softwares and also application that will rely on AI to achieve some of the missions and objectives that they are pursuing. Beyond revenue, sometimes it's just like increasing the refining the experience of their employee or their consumers. Another interesting statistics, that's much more of a projection from the IDC, but 70% of commercial enterprise apps will use AI by 2021. So it's like I said, it's really a digital transformation enabler here when we're talking about artificial intelligence. And of course, goes with that a increased demand for talent or people that are knowledgeable about AI, not just in terms of programming, and it's not just about technical aspect. Like there is a lot of people in organization, from bottom up, that doesn't necessarily understand what AI can do. There's all sorts of stories and myths of what AI can do or cannot do, and it's really important to understand what it is really, and like how it works and how it could be applied, and being aware of like use cases and also case studies. And that's what we will be doing in this particular certificate, is making sure that you are equipped to understand where AI is applicable and what AI can give you in terms of like outcome and output. Next slide. So where someone that is interested in leading change and leading, for example, implementation of AI or insertion of AI solutions, it starts with understanding AI technology. It starts also with understanding the value and the disruption that AI is bringing. And like it's also important to see where AI could be used. It could be used in product application, process application, and insight application. And those are mainly the three areas where AI gets deployed, so to speak. Next slide, please. It is also important to see that the government is behind a lot of initiative related to AI. There is also grant money. There is also investment made into AI, because AI is now a question of politics, so to speak, or at least in the realm of governing domestically, but also internationally. The US wants to keep an edge on the deployment and the development of artificial intelligence, trying to being able to compete and be superior to other competing countries like China or Russia, or other like I would say power in the world that are also trying to reach a certain level of supremacy, so to speak, in those kinds of advanced technology. So there is an executive order out there that kind of outline, if you want, some vision and direction for the country to take in deploying and developing AI initiatives. Next slide. So understanding AI technologies require knowledge of characteristic and difference of of artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, and big data. So like being able to like really make the distinctions between those concepts. And that's what we will be doing our first day in the certificate. How AI could potentially disrupt and transform the way organizations are managed and gain competitive advantage. We will be having a couple of demonstrations. We will have people from the industry coming and demonstrating like some of the solution and how it's disrupting an industry sector, or it's disrupting the way that, but positively meaning disruption in the sense that it gives an edge or a competitive advantage in this application. We will go through case studies. Again, we will have industry partners coming in class and showing what they did, how it went, what was a hurdle, what they anticipate in terms of, like future development based on AI initiative that they have implemented. And also we will be talking about how a business would begin the process of evaluating the potential of AI technology and their implementation. And that I will have you to work on it. So one of the things that we're asking our students is, depending on the size of the class, we either do that individually or in a small team. But there is an expectation that by the end of that certificate, you will be knowledgeable enough and you will understand enough the field and the technology that you can formulate, so to speak, a business case. And that will be, if you want, your capstone in that certificate, where you will be developing a business case either for your current organization, where you think it applies, or you could also develop a business case for the industry you're working on. Like, let's say that you're a freelancer, you're a consultant, or depending the kind of work, you can say, oh, maybe I could think about, like an application or solution that could open me the door to new business in the industry where I'm working. So that's the kind of thing we will be exploring in the certificate. Next slide, please. So a little bit an overview of the week. So day one will be on AI, critical technology and development. So that will be with Professor Mark Malouf. So you will be spending the first day with him. He is from the computer department, computer science department, and he is specialized in AI, its application, its development, modeling and algorithm. And he is not jargony. He wants to take students. He starts with the assumption that plus or minus well the field, and it will make sure that by the end you have a very good understanding of those like key concept of like machine learning, deep learning, and AI, and as the big umbrella, and what's going on, what are the challenges, and so on and so forth. So a kind of like an overview of all the key concepts. On day two, now that you have acquired that kind of like baseline, if you want, of understanding, we will be presenting to you some of the business solutions developed by large corporations. So this semester, we have Hewlett Packard, we have Affinity, and we have Microsoft that will come there, that are sending representative, like showing you what kind of solutions they're developing, what they're working on, what they have to take in account, what are the pillars, the foundational pillars for implementing, for example, AI in an organization. Day three, we will be focusing on much more like AI as a technology fusion enabler. We will see, okay, now that you see like AI being implemented in an industry, how they do it. They will give you many examples on day two. Day three is much more thinking about how AI is meshing with other technology like cloud computing or Internet of Things or blockchain. So that will give you also that will open the perspective of what kind of digital solution you could imagine for, especially for your business case. How you could say, like, for example, oh yeah, we could do like remote sensors with AI for detection of something like that you are looking at for your industry. Or it could be something with blockchain and smart contract, and how AI can boost and make more accurate the execution of smart contract in a supply chain that is based on a blockchain technology. Okay, so you will have presentation about that. You will have application and examples that will show you how those things are going together. On day 4, we're looking much more at challenge and limitations. We will be talking about AI ethics. We will be talking about the different legal frameworks. So I have someone from Wiley, the law firm, that will discuss the different framework that exists in terms of regulation, compliance, laws, not just in the US, but also in Europe, in Canada, and in Mexico, because those are mainly our trade partners, and it's possible that you might be working for an organization that has like investment or any business activities in those countries or areas. And then we will be talking about security, so AI and security. So not just AI, how AI boosts cybersecurity through different type of application, but also we'll talk about the vulnerability of AI for like poisoning and kind of like manipulating an AI to do something else that it's supposed to do and those kinds of things. So we'll be talking about those vulnerabilities to be aware of and maybe to think about when you have a case, a business case that you're building. And on day 5, we will be talking about how you really like develop and execute an AI business strategy. So we will have someone from MITRE that will come and that will talk about how they do that, how they support their client in developing those strategies, and how you execute them. And it will be also the time we'll do like a kind of like I would not say like a shark tank exercise, but it will be much more like an elevator pitch exercise, where each of you will be like pitching basically what are the like the outline of your business case for your AI capstone, and you will receive feedback from people that are paid to help company to transition to AI solutions. So that would be a good feedback. We will be also talking in the afternoon much more about the future of AI, what AI is, what are the trends, what are the things to be looking after, like especially with the development right now of quantum computing. It is an important emergence in terms of technology that will totally, I would say, revolutionized AI and its application, and also its performance, especially. Next slide, please. In terms of learning activities, of course, there will be lectures. The first day is mainly that. So you will have lectures from Dr. Malouf. And then we will have several guest speakers. Affinity, Accenture, Hewlett Packard. We have also, like I mentioned before, Microsoft and Wiley. I have to add that. We will be also doing discussion groups, like mostly around or making space for you to discuss with your peer and with me about your the problem that you're trying to tackle with an AI solution for your organization or your industry. Like try to come up with a topic or subject, and we can discuss that in small group through virtual breakout room, or we can discuss that in a larger group. You will have also some individual work. So we have like some readings to do. So especially to prepare before we hear from our guest speakers and the lectures, that will help you first of all to catch up on those topics of like AI and IoTs or all those, like kind of like meshing or converging technology. And it will just make the discussion with the speakers more lively and interactive. And again, like I mentioned before, you are expected to produce a capstone. Capstone is about 2,000, 3,000 words. Like, so we're talking about a 6-7 pages. I can show you when you enroll. I can show you examples of capstone. It will give you a good idea of what kind of topics have been covered so far. What kind of format they are using, what kind of problem students addressed in the past. It's very interesting, and students have all sorts of preoccupations, and they're coming from all sorts of like industry sectors. So it's very diverse in terms of how to apply AI. Next slide, please. Okay, Shawnee, so I will let you take it from here.
Thank you. I hope you guys are getting enough information, tons of information, and I hope the description of the curriculum and workload and everything is helping you make your decision. So now I'm going to discuss the enrollment process with you all. So first we'll talk about the schedule. As you see in front of you, we have the fall 2020 and spring 2021 up available for registration. Registration is still open for both. The classes, like we told you before, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m., 4 p.m. For fall 2020, the class is November 2nd through November 6th. For spring 2021, March 22nd to March 26th. Both of these courses will be delivered via Flex Learning. So they're, like I said, they're open for registration, and we'll talk about how to register in momentarily. Tuition, again, we discussed that earlier, is $3,995, and that's including all course materials and lunches. I'm sorry, I did not mention that earlier. That also, and no, it does not include lunches. We're Flex Learning. I apologize, but if you were on main campus, I'm sorry, if you were on our campus, you will receive lunch. That does not include lunch. Um, the funding options, we have different types of options available for students. Because our programs do not qualify for federal funding, we try to do our best to make the program tuition affordable, and we try to do our best to work with students when it comes to tuition. The first option is employer education and training budgets, and that's for non-government. So if you work for private corporation, nonprofit, if your employer wants to pay for your tuition, there is a document that they will need to fill out called an intent to pay form. And on that form, you will fill the top portion out, your employer will fill the bottom portion out, and on their portion, they will let us know how much they are paying of your tuition, whether it's 100% or 50%. Once that is done, you will go in and you will submit your registration. You will select third party as your payment option, and then you will send your completed signed form to our student accounts department, where they will work with you and your employer in regards to payment. If your employer is paying 100%, they will be invoiced directly for payment. If you guys are splitting it, they will work with you to pay your portion, and they will work with your employer to pay their portion. For federal agency training funds. So anyone that's part of the federal government, if your agency is paying for your tuition, they will give you a form called a standard 180, a standard form 182, SF 182. So this form, you will enter all your information in regards to the training. You will get approval by certain department heads that need to sign it. And once that's done, again, you will follow the process of registration, submit third party as your payment, and you will submit that actual form to our student accounts department, and they will work accordingly to your form to work with your agency, you to get payment. Georgetown employees, we have tuition assistance programs here at Georgetown. So if there's a Georgetown employee that wants to come and take our program, they have option for TAP benefits. Our TAP benefits has changed where 10% is covered by the student. So there's a 10% portion of your tuition that you will have to cover. And the remainder is covered by the university. The next option is probably one of our most popular option, and that is our interest-free payment plan. And that consists of 4 equal payments of 25%. Your first payment will be due at registration. However, when you register, you will select payment plan as your payment option, and then you will proceed. Our student accounts department will reach out to you for your first initial payment, and then they will set up the remainder three. So it will be 30 days, it will be 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days. So you will pay the same amount, 25%, 4 times. Um, and there are no additional fees with that, no interest. It's just your tuition, $3,995, split up into 4 equal payments of 25%. We do accept VA benefits, the GI Bill only. We have a certified official, and her name is Monique Singleton. That is the email address where you will actually reach out to her if you are trying to use your GI Bill. She will go through the process with you and explain to you the steps. But if you're planning to use that, we do accept the GI Bill. We do offer discounts for our tuitions. So the first one is Boeing. For all Boeing employees, we offer a 10% discount. And let me just say, all of our discounts are 10%. We just have different categories that people can fall under to receive the 10%. And if you qualify for more than two categories, you cannot use the 10% for both discounts. You have to select which one you're going to use at that time of registration. So all Boeing employees receive a 10% discount. We have a way to verify if you are a Boeing employee. For EdAssist is an actual organization, a company that works with organizations in regards to tuition assistance benefits. And if your company is a part of that is a part of EdAssist, you will send us your letter of credit and we will actually go into your account, your student profile once you create it with us and set up the designation. And for discounts, you have to submit a request to receive this designation on your account. You cannot access it unless you go through the process of requesting this discount. So there are things that you have to submit in order for us to verify. And once that happens, we will go into your account and it has to be prior to registration, not after registration, because we do not give discounts after registration. So it must be before you register. So again, EdAssist, you will need to submit your letter of credit to us. We will go into your student account once you create it, and then we will add the EdAssist designation to your account, and then we will also add you to a certain group for EdAssist. That means once you go in and register, there will be a drop-down menu. EdAssist will pop up, and you will be able to select that as your discount for Georgetown alumni. Now, being that you will take a professional certificate program with us, you're not considered a Georgetown alumni. You're considered alumni with us for completing a certificate program. So you will receive a 10% discount because you completed a certificate program with us. However, if you completed a degree program as well, we also offer that 10% discount to Georgetown alumni who completed degrees as well. So what you would do is email us and let us know what program you've completed, when you completed it, and then we will go and verify. The OPM Federal Scholarship Alliance is something that Georgetown has, along with 15 other schools with the federal government, where we offer a 10% discount. We only offer the 10% discount to federal government employees only. So what you would do is submit your most recent leave and earning statement. You will redact any important information, your social security, your pay, and everything. We do not need to see that. All we need to see is your name, the current date, and the agency. That's all we need. Once we receive that, we will update your account as a federal government employee, and at registration, you'll be able to select federal government employee discount and you'll be able to proceed and receive the discount. So now we'll talk about the registration process. The program is open enrollment, so there's no application needed. So you simply go on our website and you select register now. When you select register now, it will prompt you to either create a student profile or you can proceed with registration if you have already created a profile. Now, if you are trying to receive a discount, you should create your student profile first before registering so that we can make sure that we add it and that you can receive it when you register. But you register now, you select the section that you want to register for, proceed to checkout, select your payment option, whether you want to pay right away with a credit card, if you're paying VA benefits, if you're paying Georgetown TAP, if you're paying third party. All those options are listed. You select one and you proceed with checkout. And registration is complete once payment is processed. That is if you're only paying with your credit card at that time. Registration will be complete. But if you're not, if you're paying with any other option other than credit card that day, it will go to our student accounts department and they will have to do the final approval. Now, a bachelor's degree is required. However, you do not have to submit any transcripts or anything. If you do not have a bachelor's degree, there's an option that we have for you, but you must let us know and we will work with you in that capacity as well. Now we have come to the question portion. And like I said earlier, if you have any questions, please feel free to type those questions in our question panel. And I only see one question, and I believe that this question was addressed while Dr. Lemire was actually doing a presentation. And that was, can you cover a brief overview of curriculum? I'm mostly interested in AI in the context of healthcare, especially pediatrics. Thank you. Okay, so yes, they feel like that question has been answered. I appreciate you responding. Thank you so much. Do we have any more questions?
And also, like, I'm, like, to give us an understanding of different application of AI in different industries. So sometimes it's, AI in the financing sector. Sometimes is AI in the energy infrastructure. Sometimes it depends, right? So the way we can tailor the way we can tailor a conversation about application of AI in a specific sector where you work is also through discussion with our guest speakers. Like usually our guest speakers are there to, like to present, the diverse, like use case and case studies that they have from what they do in their field with their company, like Microsoft or Hewlett Packard or Affinity, but like they most of them have experience and knowledge of what it's going on also in other sectors. So a good way to I would say make it more personalized or customized, it's through the discussion we have. So people are coming for, the speakers are coming, maybe for 30, 45 minutes. They will like just giving you a couple of examples of like AI and cloud in this industry and this industry and this industry, but or just AI in a particular industry, and then you could easily engage with our speakers or faculty on a topic or on a field that is more dear or close to you. So there's a lot of room for that. Usually we, like I said, we let the speaker present for 30 to 45 minutes, and then we leave at least a good 30 minutes of exchange. So it's not a one-on-one, but it's almost a one-on-one where you can personalize or professionalize, if you want, your discussion with our speakers. So it's a way also to bring your topic on the table. And also, like, it's a good way if you already know, like, coming into the program, what kind of business case you would like to develop, which is a plus. It also, it could also help you when we have different speakers or professor talking, that you can ask questions related to your topic and your project. So that could be also very helpful to you in even like going deeper in what you want to do.
By the attendees, so thank you. Okay, so it doesn't seem like we have any more questions. And with that, I'm going to say thank you all so much for joining us today. I hope that you all receive a wealth of information to help you make a decision with registering for the Artificial Intelligence Management Certificate Program. We have contact information for the enrollment management team, which is the team that I am a part of, and questions if you have curriculum or you need personal advising or you want industry-based questions. Dr. Lemire is more than willing to talk with you and discuss the program further and discuss any, ambitions you have and want the program to help you with. Again, thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you and your families are safe. I hope that if you're homeschooling any kids, that it's going wonderful. And I wish you all a great afternoon. Thank you so much. And thank you to Dr. Lemire for joining us. Thank you all so much.
Thank you and have a great weekend.